Hello and welcome to a League of Legends replay. So I haven't been releasing replays lately. I've been finishing up graduate school, so I haven't really had time. But I just finished and graduated, so I've got some free time and definitely gonna release a bunch of more replays and try to get some games in with you guys probably if you want to play. And so let's go ahead and get started. I'm playing Fiddlesticks. Basically, I've been playing predominantly Fiddlesticks, maybe 80 to 90% of my games as Fiddlesticks and the rest basically as Janna. And I've gotten up to Diamond ELO doing this, so I've gotten quite good at both of those champions. So I can give you quite a bit of advice on them and just general gameplay and decision making, so that's what I'm going to try to be doing here. And as I said, I'll talk about item builds,
30 seconds until minions
team
spawn.
fighting choices, dueling choices. So dueling choices is like you're 1v1ing someone, and skills. So to just explain quickly what my runes and masteries are for Fiddlesticks, I think that you should get AP bonus runes, AP power runes. I usually get the flat ones, but you can also do AP per level. Magic pen runes and health and defense runes. I think the armor runes and health runes are quite good on him because that's really the main thing that he needs to worry about is getting focused down by 80 teams. I think he's a lot better against AP teams. People are telling jokes. So yeah, so that's what I think about for runes. Masteries, I usually just go full offense spec. There's a bunch of different specs you could do depending on what your preferences are, but I do think like 2109 full offense basically is very strong on Fiddlesticks. It lets him, be quite strong in the early game and do his jungle pretty quickly and secure kills and stuff like that. They've changed the jungle since the last time I made a replay, and what they've done is all the camps spawn at 155. This was done to prevent blue side advantage, where the bot lane could do double golems right here and get an advantage and get level 2 basically earlier and then all in the team. It's actually still worth it to do double golems even though they made it take longer for these to spawn. You basically will lose 1 or 2 creeps. This game they only lost 1 creep, so it's definitely worth it, as I said, to do double golems. And as far as the route, Fiddlesticks route hasn't changed at all, besides, you don't start wolves anymore, you start blue, and then you do a full clear. I think it's a lot nicer because you get to level 4, which didn't happen before. You usually got to level 3 by the time you completed double golems. So it makes it a lot easier for you to gank. There is actually a purple side advantage when you're on the red here, I guess we'll call it red, just for the sake of color clarity, because it's red on my minimap. But yeah, there's actually an advantage for Fiddles to be on red side because he can get to level 4 now and then have an easier time ganking, potentially top or mid. Because the reason I'm saying that that's an advantage is because you end up here, and it's actually quite difficult to gank bottom lane.
First blood.
I don't know, he placed a word, and that was, I don't know, he wasn't really thinking, I guess. Anyway, so I was saying it's like very difficult to gank bottom lane. So this is a little 2v1 situation. Vayne is quite strong in this once he gets the. Yeah, see, nice. Good job. He cleansed the exhaust there. So that was a good job by Vayne. Just outplaying the other team. He could have flashed earlier and secured the kill on easy, but I guess he had it all planned out and he was gonna get the double kill there. Alright, so we're continuing our camps. As far as skill choice, I usually like to max my drain first. Did I put 2 points in there? Okay, that was an accident. That's fine. I'd rather make that accident than no, I didn't. Sorry. No, I did. Okay. So yeah, I usually max W and then max the Q, and then I get 1 point of Dark Wind early at level 2 to make sure I can clear camps much more quickly. Here I asked if Revan had a ward, and he said that he didn't, and I should have just gone with my own reasoning, which was I looked at his items and given his items, he has enough money for a ward, and it's not in his inventory spot, so that means that he put this ward down pretty early. And he knows I'm here, and what I'm doing, the reason I'm not going in like flashing in there, just like going in when he comes here, is because he can just dash away, and that's not going to do anything. So I just wait until he goes in. Actually, it was like pretty obvious to me that the Hecarim was top just from the way he was playing. He was playing like very aggressive before, and now he's like running back to this bush. He's like, really, there's no one here. I'm just running back to this bush because I don't want you to follow me, and I'm scared of you. Like if you have a good idea about this game, the more you play it, the better idea you'll have of when people are acting fishy. And he was definitely acting very fishy. Like it was very clear. So that's why the other reason why I wasn't going in. I'm looking for a gank here. It's actually pretty difficult to gank Lysandre because she can just use her icy claw thing to run away. So I was like, okay, either this is warded or she's just being smart about this. As soon as I see she's missing, I backping Vayne like 3 times, and like she doesn't listen, and that's like pretty frustrating. I think when you're on the team, like when it's obvious like that this is happening, but it happens, and like you can I think it's okay to be like, why didn't you back? Like I backpinged you and I told you that she was coming because she was missing, so that means it's obvious that she's coming down. But like I don't think you should troll your team. Like you shouldn't be like, you're an idiot, like you're the worst player ever, I hate you, you should die or something like that. Like that doesn't help anyone. That just makes them ignore you in the future, and it's just not very productive. Alright, here's something that I think is a common mistake that I don't do here, is that, so I was here and I see that the creeps are pushed to the tower. Commonly, like junglers will like finish their camps when it's actually much more worthwhile to go straight to the lane and get this XP. It's going to be more XP. And not only that, well, that's annoying that it does that. Anyway, you can come back for these camps, later, and so you'll get more of an advantage for just going to the lane. So if you see a lane that's getting pushed to the tower, there's no one in it, don't clear your jungle. Go straight to the lane, and you'll get more XP that way. Fiddle is very strong when he gets to level 6, so you want to try to power jungle as quickly as possible. You do have some opportunities for ganks top lane and mid lane, depending on what the champions are. Like ganking mid lane is basically going to be a waste of time. It's too easy for her to get escape. Top lane is doable, so that's a more reasonable choice here. But yeah, so once he gets to 6, he definitely wants to gank lane. But as I said like a second ago, there are some level 4 ganks that you can do, which are quite strong. And when he gets to 6, the best lane to gank is bottom lane. The reason for this is if you can kill their AP carry, their AD carry, then you can pick up Dragon after that and you can't really stop it. So that's why bottom lane is so powerful. I wait on blue because I see that he's trying to get away, and I'm just waiting here. I was thinking about ulting in, but there's nothing I can do. Bottom sort of exasperates this situation even more by coming here. They should not have come. As bot lane, your goal is to farm as the AD carry and get as strong as possible, as quickly as possible, and not to roam. Mid lane does have quite a bit of opportunity to roam as the top lane. The way you roam as top lane or mid lane is you push the creeps into a turret, and that way you're not losing anything and you're denying the creeps on the tower, and then you can go roam. And that's actually a good strategy, but as bottom you can't do that as easily, and it's much more important for them to get XP and gold because they scale so much off of items, whereas the AP does, depending on the champion, scale off of items, but it's often easier to get away with getting less items and still be quite strong as an AP carry. Alright, so I've cleared off of all this. There's really hasn't been anything to gank. I shouldn't have wasted my time with trying to see if I could do something, but I didn't know. If they had all grouped up on or Rengar, like if they had all walked up into this bush, I definitely would have tried to ulti in and get a couple kills there. So it is good to pay attention to the map and try to help your teammates if possible. most of you probably know this, but you should drag the blue and red golems and I guess lizard respectively into the bush, and that's just so that you can prevent enemies from sneaking up on you and stealing them. So that's like an obvious tip, but like if you don't know it, I think you should do it. And you can also keep track of the buffs. There's a couple things to keep track of. The first is that wards spawn die every 3 minutes. So if you have timestamps on, which is an option in the menu, you can turn on timestamps. That's really important. I think you should definitely do that. So I see this is happening, and I run as soon as I can. There's not a lot I can do. Like there's really like not too much I can do here. I do ulti in because I see that we can get some kills here, and I flash and I what's it called? I use my so I use that mostly right. The only difference that I would have done if I had had the opportunity again was I would have killed Lulu instead of Hecarim, because one, she's easier to kill, and two, she had her ulti up, so she basically saved Hecarim and I didn't get any kills off of that. I think if I had placed my ulti a little bit better, I could have gotten a double kill, but that's okay. And here I'm sticking around to help Vayne survive, and I'm just trying to lifesteal off minions. So if Lissandra goes in, I'm just going to Q her immediately, and that should prevent Vayne from dying. So it turned out fine. We got a 1-for-1. I did use my flash, so that's not great. And I see that Easy is trying to back, and what I do here is, well, I don't know what he's doing. He was initially saying that he wanted to back. He should have backed before, because there's nothing he can do here. But yeah. Alright, I guess if Vayne is going back, then that's fine. Maybe this was later that I'm talking about. Anyway, moving on. Continuing on with getting farm, it's pretty important for Fiddles to get farm, because even though he's quite good without farm because of his silence and his Terrify, he scales off tremendously from AP, because basically all his things so like this one has 5 ticks, so whatever your AP scaling, I think it's, let's see how much AP I have. Maybe this is like 0.5 for this. For the ulti, you multiply that by 5, so he actually scales up double from the AP, so it's like incredibly strong. So it's like two times his AP for this ability if you hit a good percentage of the ulti. This one is similar to that. Like, let's see, it bounces 5 times. So again, it's like 2 times off of that, and this is also 5 seconds. So yeah, it's like 2 times his AP plus 150. So you can see how strong he is off of AP. The reason, as I said before, that he doesn't necessarily need items too is that his Terrify will last for 3 seconds at max, and he can silence basically the whole team for like 1 second, or has a total of 6 seconds total of silence time, or something like that. And it's not max, so that's not quite right. But it'll be more than that actually. So that's why he doesn't necessarily need items to still be very impactful if he terrifies the right people and uses Dark Wind on the right people. But as I said a second ago too, he's incredibly strong if you get good AP items on him. As far as what items I like to build on Fiddles, Zhonya's is the critical item to get on Fiddles. The reason for that is that he'll be up in the middle of the team fight. Like, he'll be in the middle of everyone trying to hit them all with his ultimate. So like he'll be like right here instead of like back here like most AP carries are. And people can just focus him and kill him, or potentially knock him back if they have a knockback. Alright, there's something I can do here. I was thinking about coming, but they responded like immediately, but they just overextended and died. And that's okay, it happens. And they're doing the right thing. As I said before, this is why ganking bottom is so powerful as the jungler. You can secure dragons off of that and really put your team quite far ahead. If this happens, so like if bottom is dead, people a lot of times will like to come to dragon and sort of run back and forth like this, like up here and back and forth and back and forth. And I don't know, I guess with the vague hope that they're gonna smite it. You're not gonna smite it, and you're probably just gonna die. So it's not worth it. So don't do that. Just try to get the XP from lane and the gold from lane, and do your best. And accept that that's been a loss. So yeah, just trying to farm up in the lane and get XP with Fiddlesticks. It's like basically impossible to last hit with Fiddlesticks. His attack animation is like terrible, and he does no damage. So, and his lane clear is terrible. So he has like a lot of problems like when he's like trying to clear lanes late game, like he doesn't do anything and just like wastes his own time. So yeah, that is an issue. But yeah, so this game I'm pretty fed. Like, actually I'm not fed. So yeah, like sometimes at this point in the game I can afford a needlessly large rod, and that's what I'll get. Like on my first trip back, I usually get boots, and I like to start Doran's rings because it's quite good on Fiddlesticks. He uses all the stats. He doesn't need the mana or gem, and the HP is really nice, and the AP is really good because, as I said, he like substantially scales off of AP. On my first trip back, I couldn't afford like boots and a needlessly large rod, so I got boots and blasting wand. Another consideration is to get the arm guards, which builds into Zonia's, and you want to get that early because you get bonus AP and armor, so you get 15 bonus in AP if you stack it fully, and you don't get that if you build, you know, straight into the rod. I see that a team fight's going on, so I make sure I am sneaky about it. Like I try to not let them know that I'm, you know, coming in, and I go ahead and ulti in. I flash over to Lissandra to save Vayne. I could have flashed to get closer to these guys, but I don't think I would have gotten any kills. And then as soon as she uses this, I make sure I walk out of it. So that's something that people will do, forget to do against Fiddles when he uses his ulti. Just walk away. This guy's staying around, and I'm just gonna go in and try to save Janna. I use my E and then W combo and Fear, and I just try to walk up to him and then use my W, and he flashes. And so the range for W is actually much longer once it's been cast than the initial range. The initial range is like, if I'm here, it's like up to here. I'll wait till I stop moving, but it's like very small. It's like, I'll just try to track it a little bit. So like it's like that, but when it's when I'm saying it's like that, I'm referring to my mouse cursor. But the range once it's been cast, so as you can see, it's like right here. Once it's been cast, the range is like this long. So that's something you should keep in mind, that like it's actually pretty difficult to run away from that if you're fighting Fiddlesticks. Like the range is much longer than you think it is. And another key thing that happened in that fight that I'd like to point out is that when someone's running through this bush, so that's what he was doing. He IQ'd him and eat him, and then he took the long path out like this way. What you want to do is you want to cut them off, so you run this way. So like let's say we're here, and then we're fighting like here, and then he runs like this, and then up. You don't want to do this. You don't want to follow him. You want to cut him off, so you can, you know, wait for cooldowns and then use your spells as he comes out of this bush. If he runs back this way, that's fine. Just try to pay attention, and you can, if you can keep track of that, you can definitely kill them, because that's actually a mistake to run away from your towers. They're trying to juke you. It's actually quite risky to do that, and you can often punish them for doing that. But as I said, when someone's running away from you, you don't want to fall like right in their footsteps, because then it's just a foot race. You want to, you know, cut them off. And that really will let you catch up to them, even if they have faster movement speed. If you're camping, trying to camp someone, so like let's say we have wards here and we like know that there's two people here, and we're just waiting for them to walk into this bush. That's really dangerous to do if you don't have oracles, because they can just 5-man come there and kill you. So that's without oracles. Try not to camp people unless you like know exactly where the wards are. So as I said before about timestamps and keeping track of things, wards will spawn every 3 minutes. Jungle camps will spawn every minute, except for the blue and red. So here I'm just walking away because he can kill me. So bees will spawn every 5 minutes. Dragon will spawn every 6 minutes, and Baron will spawn every 7 minutes. And if you can keep track of both of yours and your enemies, you can steal buffs from them and really put your team ahead. So that's one way to take the lead and sort of expand on it. Like those will be common objectives that people will want to fight over, and it's something that you can use to, you know, force team fights when you're ahead, and, you know, get golden XP to really further how strong your team is going to be. All right, so Vayne has gotten pretty farmed at this point. She got a double kill earlier, and then most of the other kills are from me, like coming down bottom to help her survive. I haven't really helped out top at all, and you should keep track of like what the lanes are. So for instance, Rengar really doesn't need help. He's died twice, but He's been like pretty far behind. But he has an ultimate that lets him run away, and he has a bunch of like slows and snares and stuff like that. So he can get away from fights like 2v1 situations pretty easily just by popping his ulti and walking away. So that's why I haven't really been felt that like I need to gank him, and top really shouldn't feel like he needs to gank them. So we're just waiting. This was definitely a kill if he had hit his barrel, and that's unfortunate. Or if he had used his ulti, you can see his ulti. Not quite Alcos. Yeah, if we had timed it a little bit better, we would have gotten a kill. But that's fine. We just wasted his time, I guess. We wasted our own time. That's one thing that you need to consider is wasting time. If you're chasing like a Singed for 5 minutes, like 5 members of your team, then if the other team is alive and like pushing objectives and stuff like that, that's really bad. So getting kills and tunneling is not worth it if you know, the bonus XP and gold is not worth, you know, giving up objectives and stuff like that for the most part. Alright, so I should have enough money for, let's see if we can switch to money. Yeah, so I do have enough money to get a death cap, and I often get the death cap first if our team is ahead. So you can see we're like 5k ahead, mainly just from focusing on objectives and stuff like that. We're two towers up to their 0, and not so much kills, but you can see CS wise we're also ahead because we got Vayne pretty farmed. And so, as I said, the way that you promote winning the game is, you know, putting out wards and taking objectives and stuff like that. And as far as my items, the way I get my team ahead is I get instead of getting Zonias early, I'll get Death Cap. And that means that I'll definitely get like a couple kills in a team fight, and my ulti will be super powerful. And our team will be so strong that they can't really fight us. So I'm just going to wait here, and I'm not going to ulti until I see that they're going to fight. And I don't quite put my ulti in the right spot. I should put it over here and anticipated that they're going to run up here. It is pretty hard to use Fiddle's ulti. He should have just walked away. I don't know why he didn't. But yeah, so he's trying to juke, and then as I said, I don't try to run back into his bush. I just try to cut him off, and then I go ahead and get my sphere and get a kill off of him. So you can see how strong, not following into the bush, but you know, trying to cut him off. That was like a perfect example of that. We can kill her if she sticks around, and we know where easy and their support is, so it's definitely fine to fight them. I'm just gonna clear out their jungle. More things that you can do to, you know, increase the lead of your team. And Gragas said that he's here, so I'm just waiting for him to come. I didn't quite time it right, and I fear and don't actually have enough to use my drain combo, so that's unfortunate. And I walked back, which was a mistake. I should have actually stayed forward. Like there's nothing that she could have done to me, so that was just a mistake on my part. I could have saved Rengar, but it's fine. These guys should be focusing on less on kills and more on getting objectives. Like Vayne should be auto this. I think that's something that everyone does at all levels. I don't think there's a lot of difference between all the levels besides skill. As far as like how what players do that are common mistakes. One common mistake that everyone makes is they try to get too many kills and not focus enough on objectives. So that's something that everyone needs to improve on. I think as far as manners are concerned, and team play is definitely better at top. People will understand what you're trying to do better and know when to do it or not to do it. But as I said about the kill thing, yeah, this is stupid. And you'll see that at all levels. Here I'm just trying to save Gragas if the guy wants to come in, but he's not going, so I just back out, and I'm aware that nothing's gonna happen. So I think this guy could actually have killed me if he wanted to, but I definitely don't want to fight him. There's no point. I'm not gonna kill him, and I don't know where their team is, so I can just die. So don't fight people if there's no point. Just try to get more gold and XP and extend your lead. It's like a core concept of this game that I think is not necessarily obvious to everyone, and is once you think about it and realize that it can really improve your game. So now that I have my death cap, the next thing I'm gonna get is Zonias. Normally I'll get Zonias if we're behind first, and then if we're pretty far, if I'm pretty far and we're fed, I'll get death cap first. As I said before, the reason you want the Zonias is because you'll be up in the middle of the team fight, with your ulti, you'll basically Pro Storm flashes you into the middle of the team fight to do lots of damage, and if they are smart, they'll just focus you and you'll die, and you won't do any damage. So that's why Zhonya's is critical, and also Zhonya's can let you continue to do damage even when you're invulnerable. So definitely a good choice. As far as like who should get blues, because Fiddles definitely needs blues. Vayne does not need blues and should not take them, so I think that should be obvious to everyone that Vayne should not take blues. As far as like reasonable people that should get blues, your AP carry is often a good choice for blues. Okay, this guy should be dead. Sorry, I missed his barrel, but that's fine. Yeah, so if he had done a little better, we would have gotten a double kill, but it's still fine. But yeah, as far as people that should get blues, Gragas is definitely a choice. I'm actually more fed than Gragas is, so I should be getting the blues, and that's just sort of how you can figure it out, like who is more fed and who's going to use it more. Gragas is unfortunately not paying attention. I think we could have killed Riven there. His barrel was down, but I think we could have bursted him. So yeah. And then I ping this. I'm like, look, he's definitely here. We should just go in. I don't want to face check. Fiddles, it's like super important to not face check. This guy's like totally like sweating like intensely as Gragas walks into the bush because he was totally dead. But anyway, yeah, Fiddles' position is sort of the key concept with him. He's a counter puncher. So if you know something about boxing or like you understand this analogy, like he waits for the enemy to throw out the punch and then he like ducks the punch and then punches back, or like he like interrupts the punch. So in the league sense of this analogy, he waits for the team to dive on your Gragas or your Rengar or your Vayne and then ultis as soon as they do that. So like as I said, like there's a great example. They dived on the Vayne and then I like counterpunch with my ulti. It's really hard to initiate with this because if they have a ward or something, and they'll just see it and they'll just back out and you'll die. Like you'll go in and your team won't follow up and you'll die and nothing good will happen. So that's the best way to use his ulti. You can like come from like you can sneak over here and like ulti, and if they group up on the tower and you're pushing and stuff like that. This was dumb. Two things that were dumb about that: Vayne shouldn't have dashed into the fight. It was a 1-for-1, but I died, so that wasn't like worth it. That made it not worth it. Because I had a kill streak, I had 6 kills, and yeah, like so if Vayne hadn't done that, it would have been a little better because he wouldn't have gotten like frozen too. But yeah, it was definitely bad decision making on my part. All right, so I now have Zhonya's and Deathcap. I think these are the two critical items because, as I said before, he scales so much off of AP. It like gives you huge amounts of damage. So like it just if he gets the full ticks, it's like, let's see. It says 1.5 seconds, so 5 seconds, so 5 times 183, which is like 915. So that's huge. Like that's so much off of AP. He only I only have 400, so that's like more than twice the AP, as I said before. And this one is the same thing. It's like 5 times 189, so it's like almost 1,000. It's 990 off on this one, so 990, and like as I said, oh, this one's also 990 off of AP. So that's like ridiculous. Like there's no other champion that does that. That being said, like you do have to hit champions with this to do like the bonus AP damage, and that's not even including like his base damage. So it's just completely insane. Like he's not this guy. Like he gets like 300 damage off of this thing. When like as I said before, he gets like 1,000 damage off of. Or like, so that guy got like 150 off of his AP, and this guy gets like 1,000 off of his AP. Obviously they have more, but like, yeah, I think that should be clear. I mean, like how much better APs on this guy is than on like any other AP champion. Right, so as I said, like critical items, Zhonya's and Deathcap. After that, I'll often get sorceries just for the movement speed. Usually people don't have, like usually I get like so fed with Fiddles that like people don't buy MR and they don't like understand how strong MR is against Fiddles. So like usually no one on this team has MR. Like the only MR is like this guy's boots. That's like the only MR on their team. So that's like a mistake that people at all levels make. They don't optimize their builds for what they're playing against. They're playing against 2 heavy AP champions that are really like, at this point like Vayne is super fed, so like they can't really deal with either of us, but like yeah. Alright, so here's positioning with his ulti. You need to really run into the middle of the team with your ulti, and then Zhonya's once you get there. And so that's what I tried to do. Like, I tried to flash in, and I only got one with him, but I couldn't really have gotten more. And it was, again, I was just trying to counterpunch. Here we make a mistake. We shouldn't do Baron. You shouldn't do Baron if you're really far ahead. Sorry, if you ace your team, basically, you should get the inhibitor, because the inhibitor lets you do Baron, and Baron doesn't necessarily let you do the inhibitor. I'm considering tanking, but I changed my mind because I do more damage if I don't tank. Baron puts on a debuff on whoever he's autoing, and you do less damage, so like Vayne really shouldn't be tanking, even if she like has the most life. That being said, like sometimes you need her to tank so you don't die, but you don't want your primary damage dealer, so like you wouldn't want Hecarim actually to tank if possible. Like he probably will have to tank, but well, they all have Elder Lizard, so that it's a moot point in this case. But like you don't want like the guy with Elder Lizard to be tanking, even if he like normally wouldn't do as much damage. He does like 30% extra damage to Baron, so like, and Baron will reduce that damage significantly. Alright, so now we just have to close out the game. We're like 15k ahead, and as I said, the way you do that is you put down wards, you buy oracles. Like Gragas didn't help me. Damn you, Gragas! Yeah, you put down oracles and you slow push. So the slow push, the way this works is you have one person split off and push in, top lane or bottom lane. Bottom lane is actually preferable to push in than top lane, especially in this case because it's lower HP. But the reason it's preferable is bot lane being pushed in lets you get to Baron more easily. So like if this inhibitor is down, they have to be here instead of up here, and that makes it take longer to get to Baron. So that's why bottom lane is like the best lane to have the inhibitor down in. And then mid lane is quite good because will give you the most map control because it'll control the center of the map. So that's another good choice. But yeah, so basically you want to split push. It'd be even better if we had like 4 bottom and 1 top, so they have to run the furthest between the two of them. Middle and top is fine, or bottom and middle is fine, but I like the bottom top split push the most. And you just you try to poke them as much as possible. You don't dive under the turrets because you have the advantage. If they take poke, they're not gonna live. And what I'm gonna do here is just counterpunch. So I let. Yeah, this is annoying. So I got hit with the ulti, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna back out and go heal up. And then the way that this is also pulled off is that you need to be very aware of your positioning, because you're going to be fighting at a disadvantage if they engage on you. So as you can see, he's always fighting against like 2 people, and if he goes too far in, he'll get killed. He'll just get bursted down by their team. So you really need to make extra sure of your positioning. I'm not going to initiate with my ulti because it's just too easy for them to run away from it. So I'm just waiting. As soon as we get turrets down and stuff like that, I'm thinking about going in. If they had really gone for Rengar, I would have done the ulti, but it didn't look like they were actually doing it. So I just go ahead and move up, use my fear on him, and then we easily get a double kill. And there's still nothing for me to ulti. So I just don't bother. There's no reason to do that. And we just need to get the inhibitors. So Gragas is going to finish this, and we're going to get double inhibitors off of this. And the game is not over as long as they don't like die. As long as these 2 guys don't die, like they should be able to stall for another 30 seconds. But they don't keep in mind about what Fiddle's going to do. So you have to be even further back when you're playing against Fiddles, because he can just walk up to you and give you a 3-second stun, which is like super long. So that's another thing Fiddles can do when his ulti is down. So we're just trying to finish it up. Vayne is trying to get kills for some reason. He should just try to win the game. They can still like come back, so like this is like kind of dumb. And what I do here is I flash out and then use ulti. And I should have not Zhonya's. I should have just ran forward, made sure we got the kill off easy. I do make sure that I exhaust her and then get the kill there. And we're just need to finish this off. If Rengar auto attacks and I auto attack, it'll die pretty quickly. So I hope you guys enjoyed this replay. There'll be more replays in the future. I'll be playing Fiddlesticks, Diamond Elo for the most part, and if you guys have any suggestions or comments, feel free to leave them. I definitely appreciate them, and don't forget to rate and subscribe. Alright, I will see you guys probably tomorrow for another replay.